through training. If we went on any of the runs, do you know what I mean? I'd always be one of the ones who was always up the front. And that just continued, really. So even as I've aged, you know, I'm in my 40s now, I've just kept that going. So that lifestyle of, you know, just keeping training, eating relatively healthy, you know, so I do like the occasional beer and, you know, the treat, etc. You know, but I just know that, you know, the majority of the stuff that I do is the right thing, you know, because most of my friends, you know, they'll say like I sort of defy age compared to them, but it's just the fact that I'm consistent with what I do, you know, and that's the main tips that anyone's going to get, is just being consistent. Yeah, so I love sharing the knowledge, you know, and obviously meeting people like yourself. When we went down to London, you know, went to the Peak Summit, you know, because it's working on another area and aspect within your business. I'm always looking to develop, you know, so thanks for this opportunity anyway to come on and have a chat with you, Ollie, all right?
You're very welcome, man. Dude, I didn't know you were 40. My God, you look
43.
Oh my God. and that's so cool because you really defy the stereotype.
Yeah.
I hope I look as good as you when I'm 40, man.
Cheers for that. And I say that to all my older clients as well. Yeah, I think we age different now anyway, you know, so we're a lot more educated on stuff. Whether or not we implement it's another thing. But people are definitely living longer, you know. You know, there could be arguments about that as well, like whether or not some people should be allowed to live longer, you know, because obviously drugs keep people alive when really is it the right thing. But that's a totally different topic. But yeah, I think, you know, if you keep yourself in relatively good shape, you eat, you know, relatively well, you know, we live in a world that's got an abundance of food, you know, so, you know, it's not always the case for some people, but yeah, I think if you do the majority of the things right, then yeah, you should age well. Yeah, and that's what I'm looking to do.
That's awesome, man. By the way, you will see me making notes because I always try to learn something from the guests I bring on the podcast. So
of course, man.
I always write things down, and obviously it kind of triggers me. Talk to me about your transition from the army to the fitness industry. Like,
right. So,
what drove you to actually become a PT after you left the army?
Yeah. So, like in the army, I mean, obviously it's very physical anyway.
Yeah.
And the PT industry actually would not exist had it not been for the army, because it came from that sort of line of, you know, how do you get a lot of people fit, you know, with limited space, limited resources, you know. So when you look at like when the British Army prepared to go to, you know, World War II and what have you, the big group, you know, hundreds of them doing star jumps and stuff, and what we class as like hit classes now, you know. So the military's always had that background, and it's part of the culture to pretty much most mornings do something physical, you know. Because I think it's that, you know, the main reason why as well in the army is why you keep yourselves fit. One, you're going to be healthier, you know, so if you're not as susceptible to diseases if you're physically in a good place, you know. And when it comes to mental strength and endurance, you can actually stay awake longer if you're fitter because you've got more energy. All right, so there's certain times, you know, military operations where you're not going to get sleep, you know, and if you're a bit lazy and you are an expert at sleeping, then you're not going to fare too well, you know, so you need to be fit to be a better soldier, if anything. So yeah, so that thread of fitness has always been there. I'd always played a lot of team sports as well, so I played a lot of rugby in the army, and there's a social aspect to that as well, you know. So after every rugby game, it'd always end up in a bar somewhere. So there'd always be lots of drinking involved.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so that had always been there. I coached rugby league whilst I was in the army as well. So you get to a stage where, you know, your body maybe doesn't hold up as well, you know, obviously it's contact sports and what have you. So, you know, again, just having that, I wanted to pass on my knowledge. So I coached rugby league, which I thoroughly enjoyed, you know, and even to this day, I'd still, if my body would hold up, I'd still love to play it, you know, because I've got a real passion for it. But I think you just have to be a little bit more sensible at times, and you know, it comes a time when all good sportsmen and people have to choose a different outlet, you know. In the army, you do sort of different roles and jobs, or you should do if your career is progressing well. My last job in the armed forces, I did 2 years as a recovery officer. Okay. So I was working with wounded, injured and sick soldiers. And a lot of that was working with the mindset rather than actually anything physical and hands-on, you know. So, and I know that, you know, training mentally can put people into a lot better place, you know. So as an example, I suppose if you look at like a footballer when they get a career-ending injury, it's not so much the injury, it's probably that lack of activity and that taking away of what they're all about, you know. So for football, like Kevin De Bruyne at the moment, you know, he's got a knee injury. You know, mentally, that is a tough period to go through, you know, because for all of his life, he's been kicking a football probably every day. So you're having to then work on that different aspect. And having done that sort of a job where you're working on that and then seeing people change through, you know, applying themselves in a different matter. So you can use that mindset to apply it to something else, you know, and still get results, you know, so you can still set goals and break goals to keep you moving on.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. So having done that for a couple of years, and I've always, you know, used gyms. You know, in the army, you're gifted in the fact that you get access to a free gym, you know. But when I was home, I'd always use my local gyms. And I remember when I first started getting interested into wanting to be a personal trainer, I'd asked a lady in a gym who I thought was a physio. She was working with some older clients. Okay. And I said, like, you know, what do I need to do to maybe do that type of work? And she said, well, the first thing you need is your level 3 personal trainer. Mm-hmm. So before I got out of the army, I did that with YMCA Fit, which was one of the first companies again to sort of accredit that as a qualification. And that was sort of it, really. So once I'd sort of set my sights on wanting to do that as a career, then that was it for me, you know. So it's like anything, you know, if people are looking for a job in life, you only need one job. You know, if you're applying for 50 jobs and they're all different types of jobs, then you're probably not going to get that job, you know. So that was the way that I approached it. And I was really lucky that Nuffield Health took me on as a personal trainer and wellbeing advisor before I'd actually got out of the army, which the taxman loved because I was getting double income. You know, it set the foundation, you know. So I did a year at Nuffield Health, working, you know, corporate type gyms. And I'm still a generalist when it comes to training. I've got a broad spectrum of clients at the moment, you know, ranging from young men. My oldest client at the moment is a 70-year-old man. And I've got a few sort of housewives and people that, you know, middle-aged, shall we say, that get to a stage where, you know, whether they get frustrated or whatever, and they want to do something about it, you know, because we are living longer. And it's a thing that I'm really passionate about doing. So, you know, it fits. And yeah, I love it. You know, it's one of those, you could probably do it yourself. You could probably write a book on it, you know, and people like Phil Lairney cover it a lot of the time, where he'll talk about the realities of being a personal trainer. Where he'll say, like, you know, for a lot of the time you're on minimum wage, you know, for the amount of hours you do, you know, and that's right, you know.
Even below minimum wage, man.
So people look at that, or you're getting paid this amount for a session. Actually, behind the scenes, when you're putting in that time and you're learning, and, you know, you're writing up, you know, training programs, etc., you know, it sort of never stops. But as well, you've got to have that passion to keep that going, you know, and that's why so many people then drop out of the industry, you know, because they probably don't realise the work and commitment it actually takes to be successful, you know, because personal training courses, as we know, they're good because it gets you the first foot on the ladder, but it's like passing your driving test, you know. You're not,
man.
you're not the driver, you know. You've got a lot of months behind the wheel to actually learn how to really drive. It just gives you that first step. So
dude, that's awesome, man. I mean, you've got quite a background here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you're perfect for the job, man. and I wanted to bridge from everything you've just said about the army life, about the mindset, and about everything you've been through since you started with Nuffield. And what would you say is your general approach to fitness, especially working with your client as well? Because it's very good that you have a broad range of clients. You've got young guys, old guys, ladies, moms, and like, what's your general approach to fitness?
My general approach usually it all backs off where they're at currently.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't use a cookie cutter approach to training. All right. So I used to, when I was younger and before I was a PT, actually, I used to buy a lot of fitness magazines.
Yeah.
You know, and you'd get like workout of the week or month or whatever in there.
Yeah.
You know, it usually have like lots of burpees in it and stuff. And sometimes just exercises that weren't really appropriate. But because you're buying a magazine and it's been written, you know, a lot of the articles get written by doctors and that nowadays, or they seem to back a lot of things with, you know, someone that's got a PhD.
Yeah.
And I don't go that route. You know, it's like I say, it's whatever's in front of me. And I'll use a progressive approach. So even my advice to people that are not training currently and whatever, you know, I'll say you're better off just taking it a day a week, and then 2 day a week, you know, and just build up that volume and that progression. Because I probably, well, I do work on minimum dose is the thing that I'll do. So I'll say that if people want change, then they've got to be doing 3 resistance sessions in a week. You know, anything more than that, you know, you probably don't want to be going to like, you know, 6s, 7s. You shouldn't be in the gym every day slogging it out, you know, because it's just not sustainable. You know, so I try and fit things in for what works with people, and I like a whole body approach as well to training. And periodically, you know, so I'll change my own training the same as well. So I'm currently doing whole body training. You know, my last training cycle that I've just finished, I was doing more of a typical bro split. You know, so I was doing back and chest.
Yeah.
You know, legs on its own day. Where now I'm doing full lot, you know, in one workout, and I try and fit things in around people's lifestyle. So like, you know, I've got some people haven't got the luxury of picking sort of days to go to the gym. I like to say to people, you know, have a day in the gym and then have a day active recovery.
Yeah.
Because then generally, you know, that third day you should be then to sort of train again, whether or not that's a bit lighter or whatever, you know, but you should definitely be able to do something then. Absolutely. But then I've got some people that have to do 2 or 3 day blocks in the gym.
Yeah.
You know, so I just change their training to fit with their lifestyle, you know, because it's got to be have the least amount of barriers there. And it's the same with nutrition, you know. I don't tell people to eat 6 meals a day, you know, to follow that typical sort of bodybuilder type diet or what people would lead to believe, because if you work in an office, that's just not going to work, because they're not good, you know, you're not going to let you stop what you're doing every 2 hours so you can go and eat because you're following some crazy nutrition plan, you know. So it's got to fit as probably the first thing.
Absolutely. You know what, like it's very similar to like to my approach as well. It's really starting with the individual, like okay, where you are, where do you want to go, and then really start working backwards, like based on lifestyle, based on habits, things to change, things to tweak a little bit. And as you said, like starting with just 1 session in a week and then start build up on that. That's how you kind of like create sustainable habits in the future. Exactly. And that should be the ultimate goal. And I really like that. I mean, we're kind of on the same line with that. And again, like fit things around your lifestyle. Because one of the mistakes, which is very common, is like people try to fit fitness. I mean, kind of like trying to force it into the lifestyle, like forcing 5-6 sessions in a week, forcing, I mean, some ridiculous meals and some things like that. And the thing is, it will work. You know, you will lose some weight or you will gain some strength or some size. But the reality is ultimately you're going to get back to square one, if not worse. And I really like that, the fact that not only you're a generalist, but at the same time, like you really have that tailored approach. You know,
and it's got to be
one
that.
step at a time.
Yeah. And I know just people, you know, some PTs don't do it that way. You know, they'll just have that one program, and I'll see them in some gyms, and you know, they train one client, next client comes in, they do the exact same workout with them. You know, and it's just not the way to go. You know, because
absolutely.
You know, burpees and prowler pushes for a 70-year-old man, that is just probably not on the cards. You know. You know, for someone who's 25, maybe. And then, depending if they're moving right, you know, some exercises, again, just might not be applicable. So, yeah, that I'll always use that tailored approach, just because, you know, the client, you know, they've got to feel empowered as well. They've got to feel that they can actually do the things that you're setting them out to do, all right? Because that reinforces, you know, success builds success. You know, so if people go into the gym and they feel they're just failing at everything that they're trying to do, stop. Yeah.
They won't show up after that. They're just going to give excuses after excuse. And what would you say is one of the biggest mistake or misconception about fitness and nutrition when you get the clients coming in, for example? And just to elaborate a little bit on that, I mean, I get several clients coming in and because there's been so much misinformation and so much contradicting things in the fitness space. So they come in and they genuinely believe, for example, that if they want to lose some weight, they probably go from, let's say, a maintenance of 2,000 calories to like 1,000 calories or even below that. And then do like 3 hours of cardio even after a one-to-one session. Like what kind of misconception you see when your clients come to you and then you try to readjust it and put them on the right track?
I think probably most of the time, most people just eat too little, and they eat too little too soon. So yeah, you're right that people drastically cut their calories, you know, and that's just going to set them up to want to binge anyway. So you know, we'll probably talk about it later about, you know, the sort of steps or the steps approach that I would use, but in the first month of a client, I'll get them to write a food diary, and I'll just say, look, you know, without making too many adjustments, I'll get them to more or less just follow that for a month, because then I want to just see what's happening. So we're not really look at counting calories, but you can generally tell when sometimes if there's just not enough meals there or there's just not enough food there, you can see it stands out straight away, especially if it's like low protein or if there's low portions of vegetables, etc. You know, so just try and keep, you know, the minimum amount. We don't want overload and overwhelm early on. And yeah, I think a lot of people, when they've, especially, I'd probably say women more than men, they've probably dieted for far too long. So even if you just try and get someone to eat the maintenance calories, people are a little bit scared of doing it. You know, so it's like you've got to eat this amount, you know, so say if it's 2,000 calories, I want you eating 2,000 calories. You know, if they've been eating 1,400 for a long period, then that extra 600 can seem like quite a lot, you know, but you need, you know, they need to be getting to that point because the body needs to sort of reset itself, really. And that's, the sort of the misconception is that people think that they just need to drop loads of food and they do everything too much. So yeah, you're right, they'll do cardio, so they'll hit resistance, cardio, and drop the food all at one go. And
that's been one of the things. I mean, I work with so many guys, and the misconception and the fact that you really have to diet that hard. Dude, you don't need to do that. And we have the same approach. It's very similar. I mean, you look at a client for a month. I look at a client for 2 weeks.
Right.
Literally like full diary, no calories. We don't even change anything. I just want to see the diary every single day. And then based on that, I get the picture. I kind of like see where the trend is. Okay, where the carbs coming from, where the protein coming from, where the fat coming from. I see the frequency. And then based on that, really start mirroring these patterns and then create a plan of action. And again, like, it's one of the things we are very similar on, and I mean, it's really refreshing to know that, because I got clients who came to me before, and then like, because a previous coach, and this is what's a bit annoying in the industry, a previous coach will make you believe that because you will get results. You know, if I put you on a 1,000 calories diet, dude, you will drop weight. That's pretty obvious, you know. And then after that, when they come to you and then you tell them, dude, you need to eat maintenance now, like a bit like, it's not going to work, you know. And this is my question to you. What do you think about the information age? You know,
can you still see me? Because my screen's gone off.
I can still see you. Everything is good on my side.
Right, I don't know what's happened here, to be fair. Hang on. I've just got a message popped up, that's all.
Okay, because I can still see you. Let me know if you're back on. If you find the Zoom icon, you should actually click on it. It should pop back out normally.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, good. So my question to you was, what's your view on the information age? You know, what I mean by the information age, I mean, something I talk a lot about. It's like everything is a Google search away. Everything has been done, proven, in quotes, by an influencer or by a celebrity. Like, what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, that's one of the things, isn't it? So we're living in an age where information is easy to get hold of, you know. So if you had a specialist thing with a client and you wanted to read up on it, the first place you'd go is probably Google, you know. So we can access that information, and then it's all about that trust in it. So it's to what sources you actually trust to do that, and with it as well, you know. And this is where, especially on social media, everybody's a personal trainer, you know, everybody's a fitness expert, you know, and people will get success, you know. The people, of course, will get success, you know, especially if they're going from not being active to then being active, you know. But it's that when there's a hidden agenda in there. So I call it when people are selling their souls, really. You know, you've got a lot of people in the fitness industry that will give out sort of duff information, but it's in line with trying to sell a supplement. You know? So there's like people, you know, I see them on Instagram and, you know, they'll be selling certain brands of supplement. They're probably not even really getting much pay for it either. They're just probably getting the occasional, you know, free tub of protein or something as being an ambassador. But
there's no money in this whole ambassador thing. Like, there's no.
And so then I'd question, you know, what actually, you know, and it's all about the honesty, you know. So if people are going to be honest about things, you know, and there's a really big American supplement company, you know, that a famous footballer endorses, you know, and I won't name it, you know, because I don't want to get into any sort of but, you know, if people are going to be honest and say, I'm promoting this to make money, then fair enough. But don't say you're promoting it to make people healthier, because chances are it's probably not going to do that, all right? Because you're not cleaning up people's diets, you're not educating them, you're not there with them. You know, all you're doing is teaching them a different habit, you know. So I've known, you know, people that say, I lost loads of weight and all I did was I was drinking protein shakes, you know, like meal replacement. You know, at the end of the day, all you've done is restrict your calories, you know. You know, and if weight loss is a goal and if that works for them, then fine, you know. And people, you know, it's like the you know, anabolic use and all that. If people want to do it, fine, you know, but you've got to be really aware of what the health implications are, you know. And I will name names now, but like, you know, there's been Mr. Olympias and their bodies are absolutely wrecked now, you know. And I'm maybe 10 years younger than Dorian Yates. His testosterone levels are missing, they're gone, you know. He's on hormone replacement, you know. Mine are fine. I'm a natural athlete, you know. So when we're looking at life, you know, 30, 40 years, hopefully, you know, of my life to go, I'm going to age at the right rate, and I'm not going to accelerate it by taking something for that quick gain that's not going to benefit, you know.
Absolutely.
So, it's that. There's loads of information. And I did a video this morning myself, you know, on I'll be putting that out on Facebook, about like, making mistakes and being prepared to make mistakes, you know. So my thoughts and my views have changed about certain things, you know. I used to be the one that I'd be telling people to take BCAs and this, that, and the other, you know. And now, you know, I'm more educated, you know. So I know that it's not necessarily what you need to be doing. You know, people have to be open and honest, you know, because that's the first and foremost. Because you know, there's too much deceit around, really. And yeah, it's unfortunately it's because people just want to make loads of money. Like I said earlier, you know, most of the time, you know, if you average it out over a year, you're probably on the minimum wage, you know.
Yeah.
But you've got freedom and you're doing a job that you enjoy.
I truly appreciate what you just said. Like, make mistake and be prepared to make them, and then really adjust. One of the things, like, I mean, this whole game, like from the moment you get your certification, I mean, it's just the start. Like, it's just the start for you to keep building your knowledge, like working with different type of clients, and at the same time as well, like go and then expand that knowledge. And it's very rare to see anybody coming up and be like, yo, I got this wrong, you know, and I didn't have enough information. And again, it's because of the financial incentive behind it. Yeah. And dude, I got 1 million followers, man. Let me push some stuff down their throat and be like, get my stuff, man. Get it. This is gonna be like the game changer for you. And do you believe that we society in general, and even the industry as well, is kind of like glorifying what I call instant gratification? You know, 6-week transformation, which we were at the Peak Summit together, and then obviously we did talk about it, like the 6-week, the 8-week, the 12-week, the 20-week transformation, and all these kind of things. Like, what's your view on that, and what's your view on instant gratification in general as well?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's quick fix, you know. So a habit truly isn't established until beyond the 6-week point, you know. And even still, you know, and even myself, you know, if I look at my own water consumption, you know, some days I'm better, or some weeks I'm better than others, you know. So it's a continual thing, you know. You create a habit, then you've just got to keep it going, you know. So it's like anything, you know. If it's like a diet, so if people will follow a low-calorie diet, you know, if they know they've got an end point of 6 or 12 weeks, then fantastic. And it might get them into that shape to go on holiday. But then what do they look like 3 months after their holiday, you know? So it's that endurability and being able to just sustain it, you know? So we all know that, you know, if you could cut carbs out and drastically cut your calories and suffer it, you know, mentally you probably go to a bad place as well, and you probably wouldn't be fun to be around. You know, but do you want that? You know, and most people don't have to endure that, you know. So you just little adjustments here and there is always going to get the best success, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing, the instant gratification, and that's something I used to do in the past. We used to run those challenges and everything. And when I used to have my gym and that, I realized people really get attracted to it. And it may sound, it's a difficult conversation to have with people because they come in for 6 weeks. I mean, you have a target, you're really working hard toward it. And then from the 3rd or the 4th week, we start having the conversation of like, well, we're getting results now. Like, what's the plan after that? You know, because ideally it's for you to not only pick up some knowledge, but, you know, try to keep that or even use it as a step to the next level. You know, like my last physique competition, I did a prep of 8 weeks. 8 weeks, sorry, because I was literally in decent shape, so it wasn't that hard. So it's just the same thing. And right after the competition, like, it's like, yeah, I had some 5 guys, I had a bit of junk there, but I didn't go crazy to put the weight back on. You know, it was a stepping stone for me to prepare for my next competition, which was actually a powerlifting meet. So I needed to put a bit of weight, I think 2 or 3 kgs, and that was it. And then keep building up on that and really making people understand that, yes, I mean, we can change your body composition in 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks. It's possible. But the end goal should be like really keeping a baseline of fitness. And that's where I believe like we kind of get it wrong, not only the industry, but the clients as well. And it's down to us to kind of educate and really have methods in place as well when it comes to that. What's your view on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's that the losing weight, technically, it can be quite easy. So
everybody can do it. I always tell my clients, like, dude, everybody can do this.
Everybody can do it. It's just whether or not they choose to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like anything in it, adherence and people just eating whole foods, and not going to a takeaway and those type of habits, So if people are disciplined enough, then they can generally do it. What you'd hope in that sort of 6 weeks or so is that people actually learn. They're then not going to learn that how to maintain it, So that's where that time bit comes in, where you need to learn about your body and how it reacts, So I don't know, I've got some clients that they're very sort of sensitive to carbohydrate.
Okay.
So therefore you have carbohydrate around training, and then on non-training days, then you have higher fats, but you keep your calories up still, at that maintenance level. And it's just about them learning of how to optimize it. And for women, it's different as well. So, you get the menstrual cycle will change as well, hormonally, how their body's going to respond to foods as well. So, just with a client being, I've got a client who's been with me a few weeks, but the majority average around a year now. And even now, like when they go on holidays and they come back, they might gain a few pounds, but they know, and it's having that trust and that belief in the systems and the process, they actually understand it better themselves. And I'm still there as a coach, and sometimes the same route to get something done might not get the same outcome.
Yeah.
So some people go, well, I did loads of cardio before and I lost loads of weight. And then, because they're fitter, the body doesn't respond to it as well, So you'd have to then even do more cardio to try and, get that same energy expenditure, So it's just little things like that, and obviously having the experience of saying, right, we maybe need to change this, maybe stop doing that, and just change the direction. And then it's that, Jamie Alderton says it in his book, where you just follow one course of action until you're successful.
Yeah.
It's when you start, people confuse things, don't they? And like, oh, well, he's trying that, and they're looking at what other people are doing to get the results.
Yeah, we're not the same.
That's not their body.
The army, you've got the background. Like, if they look at you, they're going to be like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I've been training for 10 years and people will be like, how can you be so strong? Dude, it took a long time. You know what I mean? It took a long time. So it's really understanding these things. And the internet of things and the social media, I mean, it's helpful because thanks to that, me and you are connecting right now. We connect with so many great people, but at the same time as well, when you you don't know, and then you step into like the whole thing, I mean, it's extremely confusing. Like, and I can't tell you how many people, how many clients I've talked to, and then they were like, oh my God, I can't believe all the things I've seen online. Like, yeah, okay, I pick up an ebook. Everybody can write an ebook. I write ebooks. Like, I've got ebooks. Like, you pick up an ebook and then you're like, okay, I'm going to follow that. That guy actually wrote an ebook, so he kind of like knows what he's talking about. Thing is, everybody can write an ebook. Yeah. Everybody can write a blog. Like, we're doing something right now. Everybody can do it. And that's the thing, like, because it's the freedom of information is harder to dissect. And I don't know if I think it's possible with you. And I was talking to, I think it's Chara when I did the interview with her, and I was telling her like now, like when I want to do some real research, instead of going on Google, I go on Google Scholar because I read academic articles with scientific evidence. Now, I mean, I literally go through it properly to really understand things. And that's one of the things I've been passing on to my client as well. Like, if you see that, okay, yeah, keto work, yeah, go check it out. Go read the article, the research they've done, and you find out that, the research was done on people who've got like diabetes, and insulin sensitivity. And then now you understand that, okay, you know what, it does work. It's got a higher chance of success for those people because they need that medically,
Yeah.
And in my case, like, can I actually live like that? And that's one of the things. And I mean, we're getting towards the end of this, and I wanted to ask you, and I always ask this to my guests, some sort of like actionable step. And I'm going to give you a scenario here.
Yep.
Somebody who is just watching this, they're going to the gym every day, Monday to Friday, doing chest, back, biceps, legs, or arms, or the whole thing. And they really want to, like, take it up to the next level, finally achieve some goals, like either strength, body composition. Have you got any sort of advice to give out to whoever is watching this right now or listening to it, because it's a podcast in the first place?
What? So they're doing resistance training through the week?
Yeah, resistance training. I mean, the average Joe, the average guy going to the gym.
And what's their goal? Is it to gain muscle? Is it to gain strength?
Let's say that, because the vast majority of people want to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time.
Okay. So because obviously, there's the nutrition side of it as well.
Oh, this is...
What's that?
It's a whole, like, the whole nutrition thing is, it's hard to actually put that down, especially when I give you a loose case like that.
Yeah.
What I'm really after is like really some type of a framework. Like, you did touch a lot on those things when we're talking about, and I'm just trying to summarize. Like, you did talk about really starting within yourself when you talk about your tailored approach.
Yeah.
Like making small changes and stuff like that.
The main thing is, and I wrote some points down actually just from the questions that you emailed over. So the sort of three things that I would say for people to get the success with the training. So first one, they've got to track.
Okay.
So they've got to be tracking the workouts for one. Yeah. So if they're doing bench press, if they want to improve the bench press and they're doing, I don't know, say 3 sets, 12 reps, 60 kilograms, then the next time they go in the gym, they need to be adding, I call them the biscuits, they add the small weights on the ends.
Yeah.
And they maybe do 8 reps or 10 reps with 62.5 kilos.
Yeah.
And then the next time they go in, they're looking to up the reps or up the weight, but it's that there'll be times when, depending on their training age, they might go in and have a workout where they just absolutely knock it out of the park, and they're doing 80 kilogram bench press for 12 reps, but it's never going to be linear, so other things might have affected it, so sleep and what have you, but if they're tracking it, at least they know what their mood and everything's been like and how their energy levels have been, etc. So they can gauge and maybe not be hard on themselves if they're not performing and not getting the progress that they think they should be getting.
Yeah.
And that's the same with nutrition. So some people tell me they eat really healthily, but unless they're tracking it, one, as a coach, you can't advise if you can't actually see what they've been putting in, providing they're being honest with it, obviously.
Yeah.
But once they track, people then are just more aware of what's going in, because then they can actually see it. They're being accountable to themselves, and then let's say from a coach standpoint, you're making them accountable as well, and you can ask why and maybe offer suggestions for change. Yeah. The other one's just being consistent. So people have got to be consistent with it. So people do this, don't they? Like new gym joiners in January, they hammer it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, get it.
The immune system gets hammered. They get the worst cold and flu that they've ever had. They disappear in February. And that's it. That's their training career or year done until the next January. So just by being consistent, and I'd said about whether it's one workout, 2, 3, just build it up, but be consistent. That success thing. So a lot of people fail from not getting into fitness, like they drive past the gym on the way home or on the way to work. That's the fault. They drive past it, So if they could fit it into their routine, stop at the gym in either direction, then it's gonna help them out, But they've got to be consistent with it, and you've got to accept that your social life is going to happen, So unless you're competing and trying to get prizes, then you should be able to go to, family barbecues, go out for a few beers, etc., etc. It's not going to upset things in the long run, but it shouldn't be the norm. You shouldn't be spending all of your time socializing and eating junk. Let it, it will happen, but just be consistent with it. So if you do more of the good than the bad, then you're going to be, again, in the right way. And then it's be patient, you know. So people have got to be patient with what they're doing, trust in the process, you know. So I would say when I consult people, 1 + 1 = 2. So if you eat good food, you train, the minimum amount of stimulus, then you're going to get the desired result, you know. And they've just got to stick with it, because it just does take time. Like you say, the strength thing. I did a video the other week where I was leg pressing over 400 kilograms. You know, I wasn't doing that when I was 16 or 21. You know, it took time, you know, and I've had surgeries on my knees as well. I've had 3 surgeries on my knees, you know. So, you know, it just takes time to build up, and you can't expect it straight away.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things. So people might say, oh, I want long-lasting results and I'm prepared to take the time. But deep down, I think everybody does like a quick result, you know?
It's good, man.
Yeah.
So just a quick recap. I first of all track everything, man. As you say, like numbers matter, like training, nutrition, sleep. Like, some numbers down. Second thing, being consistent. Like showing up. Like it takes time. I mean, this whole game takes time, and as part of consistency, as you said, like being patient, trusting the process, and knowing that, well, it should be like having milestones. I mean, we do it in my program where when we start, like we have a year long, and we have milestones to achieve, like literally every quarters, and that kind of like gives you an incentive to really get out there and then make fitness your routine and really keep having that social life. Like you could still go out, have a barbecue, have a pint over the weekend. A pint is not going to hurt you, you know. It's not the end of the world. And really, like, I mean, those things are really in line with my vision when it comes to like fitness as well. When I get clients in, I just keep telling them, like, dude, we're starting today. 1 year from now, I'm not talking 6 weeks or 8 weeks, I'm talking 1 year from now, I want you to be in a better place, physically, mentally, emotionally, and that's how we're going to do it. And you're going to keep track on the numbers. You ask some people like last year at this time of the year, last year, what was your weight? What was your bench press? What was your nutrition like? You don't know.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I know that tracking food, weighting it could be a bit tedious. And I always tell my client, like, for the first 2 weeks, you're going to hate it. And then because on average, we kind of eat the same thing weeks on weeks anyway. So once you get into that routine, it's easy. Just like look at the bank, man. You put your money in there, and they give you a statement every month. So you need to know what you're putting in your body. And
exactly,
exactly. You know, I think we're going to wrap it up. Have you got anything else you want to add? And then we're going to wrap it up.
No, it's been a pleasure, Ollie. You know, it's like yourself. You know, you want to try and influence and help as many people as you can, really. You know, and you come from a place where you're just being real, you know, and I think that's what people appreciate. You know, you just got to be, you know, it's no bullshit. This is how it is, you know, but as well being open to new ideas, you know. So that's where like the research and that comes in. You know, you read up on stuff, and you know, my mindset from, you know, not, you know, 2 years ago, I'd say to people, don't eat carbs after like, you know, 7 o'clock at night. Do you know what I mean? Well, like now I know that it doesn't matter. If your body needs it, it needs it, you know. So your mind can change, you know. You've got to be sort of willing to accept that. And as I said really early on as well, you know, make mistakes, but just learn from them.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, my man. And before we wrap it up, we can find you on Instagram. I'm going to put the link.
Brian Howard PT.
Brian Howard PT on Instagram, on Facebook as well. It's Brian Howard.
Yeah, Brian Howard PT.
Brian Howard PT as well on Facebook. I'll put the link to your social media underneath the podcast, in the blog, on Facebook. I mean, all over the place. And man, it's been a pleasure, guys. If you did enjoy this episode, if you're listening to it, if you're watching it as well, be sure to leave it a like, a comment, a subscribe, share it with somebody you believe is going to get value from it. And if you got any questions for me or for Brian, I mean, he's a very open guy, as you've seen and heard. Somebody who is extremely knowledgeable and always willing to take a step further in life. And Feel free to connect with him. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. And then that's it. Until then, it's been your boy Oli. I'm back again tomorrow with another show, and I hope to see you there. Peace out. Bye-bye.